Salvo, a Scottish independence campaign group, has exposed several secrets they believe have been kept from the people of Scotland. Colonial status. Salvo argues that Scotland is either a colony or in a voluntary union with England. They believe that past assertions that Scotland is in a voluntary union with England are false. Right to independence. They claim that either option, if proven in court, necessarily allows Scotland the right to pick its constitutional future. Claim of right. Salvo uses the Claim of Right, an ancient document from 1689, to argue for Scotland's right to have another say on its constitutional future. Resource exploitation. Salvo alleges that the UK committed massive criminal fraud by ransacking and stealing Scotland's natural resources. These revelations are part of Salvo's broader mission to change the constitutional conversation in Scotland. They aim to put enough pressure on the Scottish government to establish relations with a friendly foreign country to press Scotland's case on the international stage. This would, they say, end up in the International Court of Justice (ICJ), the top court of the United Nations. From here, they would force the UK government to argue either that Scotland is a partner in a voluntary union, which they claim by definition means it is free to leave that union, or it is a colony. Salvo's claims are based on a combination of historical documents, international law, and their interpretation of Scotland's constitutional status. Here are some key points. Claim of right. Salvo uses the Claim of Right, an ancient document from 1689, to argue for Scotland's right to have another say on its constitutional future one. They believe that the Scottish Claim of Right was never extinguished by the Treaty of Union II. Treaty of Union. Salvo argues that the Treaty of Union is conditional upon the continuance of the Claim of Right in Scotland too. Scots law. They refer to the Act Salvo Q Juslibet of 1663, which allowed any Scot to challenge parliamentary legislation which infringed their civil liberties. It's important to note that these interpretations are not universally accepted. For instance, constitutional expert Aileen McHarg of Durham University argues that Salvo's assertion that Scotland is either a colony or in a voluntary union with England presents a false dichotomy. She states that many countries don't recognize the right to secede, and this doesn't necessarily mean that their constituent parts are colonies. The nuances of Scottish constitutional law matter. Allow me to dissect the purported claims of Salvo and shed light on their futility, particularly in the context of public opinion, and the efficacy of alternative approaches like those advocated for in the People's Assembly. Firstly, Salvo's assertions regarding Scotland's constitutional status, whether framed as a colony or in a voluntary union with England, face significant hurdles in practicality and public support. Despite their fervent arguments rooted in historical documents and legal interpretations, the reality on the ground reflects a more nuanced perspective. With only around 50% of Scotland not actively supporting independence and less than half of the independence movement backing Salvo, their claims lack the necessary widespread endorsement to carry substantial weight in legal or political arenas. Furthermore, the efficacy of Salvo's approach is further undermined by the inherently divisive nature of their tactics, by relying heavily on legal arguments and historical documents. Salvo inadvertently alienates a significant portion of the population who may not resonate with their interpretation of Scotland's constitutional future. This fragmentation within the independence movement only serves to weaken their collective voice and dilute their impact on the broader political landscape. In stark contrast, the People's Assembly offers a more pragmatic and inclusive approach to advancing the cause of Scottish independence by emphasizing community ownership, direct democracy, and utilizing existing structures like community councils. They tap into the grassroots momentum and foster a sense of unity and solidarity among diverse segments of society. This bottom-up approach not only resonates more deeply with the broader population, but also ensures that the movement remains firmly rooted in the principles of inclusivity and collaboration. In conclusion, while Salvo's legal arguments may possess academic merit, their practical utility is severely limited by a lack of widespread support and the divisive nature of their tactics. In contrast, the People's Assembly demonstrates a better grasp of the fundamentals by championing a more inclusive and community-driven approach to advancing the cause of Scottish independence. Let's delve into the discussion on Scotland's Claim of Right. and its connection to the right to self-determination.
Here are the key points. Scotland's claim of right. This principle acknowledges that the people of Scotland have the sovereign right to determine the form of government that best serves their needs.
It was initially stated in the Declaration of Arbroath in 1320 and was most recently confirmed by the UK Parliament in a debate in July 2018.
Scotland's claim of right isn't just some ancient document gathering dust, it's the very essence of our nation's sovereignty.
Dating back to 1320 in the Declaration of Arbroath, our ancestors made it crystal clear: the people of Scotland have the sovereign right to choose their government.
Fast forward to 2018, and the UK Parliament in the Commons had a serious discussion about it, reaffirming this historic principle. It's not merely about words on paper, it's about our fundamental identity as a nation. It's about democracy, self-determination, and the power of the people. It's about rejecting decisions imposed upon us and embracing control over our destiny.
In a world that's constantly changing, it's crucial to hold on to what makes us unique.
The claim of right isn't just a relic of the past, it's a living testament to Scotland's spirit. It's about standing up for what we believe in and asserting our rights. So let's not forget our heritage, but let's also look toward a future where the people of Scotland continue to shape their own fate, free from external interference.
It's high time we make our voices heard and proudly reaffirm our claim of right.
Long live Scotland, and may we exercise our sovereign rights for generations to come.
Self-determination. Self-determination champions the idea that Scotland has the right to determine its own future. This principle enjoys widespread support among the public, but is currently being denied by Westminster.
Let's discuss self-determination. It's not just a fancy term, but a fundamental principle close to the hearts of Scots everywhere. Self-determination is all about asserting that Scotland has the right to carve out its own path. It's about recognizing that we, the people of Scotland, have the wisdom and courage to decide what's best for our own future. It's no secret that self-determination is on the minds and lips of many Scots.
The idea that we should have the power to determine our own destiny resonates with people from all walks of life. But here's the problem: despite this widespread support, Westminster seems to be playing keep away with our rights. They're acting like they know what's best for us, ignoring the voices of the very people they're supposed to represent.
But let's not get discouraged. The flame of self-determination burns bright in the hearts of Scots, and it's a flame that can't be extinguished.
We'll keep fighting, keep advocating, until the day comes when Scotland's future is in Scotland's hands. So let's raise a toast to self-determination, to the idea that Scotland's destiny is in Scotland's hands. It's time to stand up, speak out, and demand what's rightfully ours.
For Scotland, for the future, for self-determination. Legal perspective. Scotland's participation in the United Kingdom is based on a treaty under international law and 2 acts of Parliament. This distinguishes Scotland's claim of right to self-determination from most others.
Now, let's explore the legal aspect of Scotland's position within the United Kingdom. Unlike many other instances of nationhood within larger states, Scotland's involvement in the UK isn't the result of conquest or coercion. Instead, it's based on a treaty, a legally binding agreement under international law.
Additionally, 2 acts of Parliament have ratified and implemented this treaty, making Scotland's participation official. This isn't your typical scenario.
Scotland wasn't dragged into the Union against its will.
Rather, it was a deliberate choice, a mutually agreed upon decision. What does this mean for Scotland's claim of right? It means it's as solid as a castle wall.
Unlike many other claims to self-determination, ours is firmly grounded in legally recognized agreements.
It's like saying, yes, we're here because we chose to be here, on terms we agreed upon, and that's something to be proud of, isn't it? It sets Scotland apart, making our journey to self-determination somewhat unique. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward, advocating for our rights and guiding Scotland towards a future determined by Scots, for Scots.
Because when it comes to self-determination, we've got a legal foundation to stand on. Plan for Scottish self-determination. A comprehensive plan is needed to broaden public debate beyond traditional avenues. An example from the past is the campaign for a Scottish Assembly, which led to the influential Acclaim of Right for Scotland Declaration of 1988.
If we're serious about Scottish self-determination, we need to think outside the box.
It's time to expand the conversation beyond the usual suspects, politicians, parties, and the like.
One successful example from our history is the campaign for a Scottish Assembly. People organised, rallied support, and pushed for change. And you know what? They succeeded. That campaign led to the establishment of the Scottish Parliament, a pivotal institution in shaping Scotland's power.
So, borrowing a page from the playbook, here's a plan to kickstart Scottish self-determination. Grassroots engagement. Let's get people talking.
We need to reach out to communities, schools, workplace and wherever people gather. Open up the discussion, listen to people's hopes and fears, and let's build a movement from the ground up.
Education and awareness. Knowledge is power, right?
Let's educate people about Scotland's history, its place in the UK, and the options for the future. The more people understand, the more likely they are to support self-determination.
Alliance building. We can't do this alone.
Let's reach out to like-minded organisations,
groups, and individuals across Scotland and beyond. By uniting our voices, we can amplify the call for self-determination.
Creative campaigning. Don't underestimate the power of creativity. Let's use art, music, social media, whatever it takes to grab people's attention and inspire action. A bit of humour wouldn't hurt either.
Political pressure. While we're broadening the debate, let's not forget the corridors of power.
Let's keep the pressure on politicians, holding them accountable and demanding action on self-determination.
So there you have idea, bold plan for Scottish self-determination that's as fierce as a Highland charge. It's time to reclaim our destiny, and it starts with each and every one of us.
Onward, Scotland. Justiciar of National Self-Determination claims. Academic research addresses the justice of national self-determination
claims and defends self-determination as both a primary and prima facie right. When it comes to national self-determination claims, there's a wealth of academic research to delve into. This research delves into the very heart of the matter, questioning the justice behind such claims, and defending self-determination as both a primary and prima facie right. Let's break it down a bit.
When we talk about self-determination as a primary right, we're
saying that it's fundamental, it's a basic human right inherent in every individual and every nation.
It's the right to have a say in your own destiny, free from external interference or oppression. On the other hand, when we talk about self-determination as a prima facie right, we're recognizing that while it's fundamental,
there might be circumstances where it needs to be balanced against other rights or considerations.
It's like saying self-determination is the default position, but there might be exceptions or limitations.
So, when we consider the justice of national self-determination claims, we're looking at whether they're fair and justified. Are they rooted in the legitimate desires and aspirations of a people? Are they being pursued in a way that respects the rights and interests of other groups? This isn't just academic jargon, it's about recognizing the dignity and agency of individuals and nations.
It's about creating a world where people have the freedom to shape their own futures, in harmony with other people and nations.
So let's not dismiss the importance of this research.
It's a reminder that self-determination isn't just a slogan, it's a principle worth defending and upholding, no matter what. Embrace the fire within in the realm where dreams ignite.
Courage fuels our inner light. 500 miles you've bravely trod. Now join me as we rise, unshod. Let passion guide, let spirit soar.
Together, we'll unlock the door. Lead with me. Let's boldly roam. For greatness lies beyond the known. Join the People's Assembly. Your voice matters.
Are you tired of feeling like your opinions don't count? Are you passionate about making a difference in your community? Then it's time to join the People's Assembly.
Why join us? Your voice matters. At the People's Assembly, we believe that every individual has a valuable perspective to share.
By joining us, you will have the opportunity to voice your opinions, ideas, and concerns on issues that matter to you. Community power. Together, we are stronger. By becoming a member of the People's Assembly, you'll be part of a collective effort to create positive change in your community. Whether it's advocating for better public services, addressing social inequalities, or protecting the environment, we work together to make our voices heard. Empowerment. Joining the People's Assembly isn't just about speaking, it's about taking action. We empower our members to get involved in local projects, campaigns, and initiatives that align with our values of equality, justice, and solidarity. As the curtain falls on yet another expose of Salvo's futile endeavors, and the spotlight shifts towards the beacon of hope that is the People's Assembly, it's time to rally, dear comrades. For in the labyrinth of political agendas and power struggles, the People's Assembly stands as Scotland's best bet for achieving true self-determination.
But let us not simply take my word for it. No, dear friends, I implore you to embark on your own journey of discovery. Dive into the depths of research, uncovering the truths that lie beneath the surface. And as you do, remember this day, for from this moment forth, the People's Assembly finds refuge under the watchful eye of the collective.
We stand united, bound by the common thread of solidarity, for we are everywhere.
So join us, fellow seekers of justice and equality, as we march forward, arm in arm, towards a brighter tomorrow. Together, we shall shape the destiny of Scotland, guided by the principles of democracy and the unwavering spirit of the people. For in the end, it is not the might of the few that prevails, but the collective will of the many.
And in our unity lies the strength to forge a future where every voice is heard, and every dream is realized. So let us rise, my friends, for the journey ahead is long, but with the People's Assembly by our side, victory is within reach. Onward to a Scotland where the people reign supreme. We are the people, we are Scotland, and we are everywhere.